Hi friends, this is Capun Piso. As I say ad nauseum, we are evolutionary primates that create thoughts with our brains. We are product of coitus. Evolution over 4 billion years of the planet Earth. And at the center is DNA. DNA. And I'm explaining to you how the whole thing began. And of course it is by coitus. We spit sperm into a cave, passing our DNA, fertilizing an egg, and then after gestation, another brain emerges. We are, in a way, the true gods. We have the universes inside our skulls that reflect and mirror the outer universe. You have 6-dimensional processes, thought, in which past, present, and future are one. We can turn it into 4 dimensions. In other words, we think, then we construct using our knowledge, collective knowledge over millennia, and then create things. And life we can create with our penis, with sexual organs. That's a fact. This is how the whole thing starts, and the essence of life, and our creation process with DNA. Here it is, the facts. God does not exist. We create gods. If you believe in God, you're a theotard, you have a malfunctioning brain.
Egg and sperm. Their union forms a single cell, and divide again. Within 3 weeks, the multiplying cells have curled into a quivering oval ball. Inside lies a cluster of cells that have begun to fold themselves into the shape of a garden hose. From the bottom will come the spinal cord. From the top, the brain. Here, beginning of all our thoughts and feelings. By 4 weeks, just as a woman is discovering she is pregnant, the first brain cells, the neurons, are already forming at an astonishing rate. 100,000 neurons every minute. Neurons that will never reproduce themselves and rarely be replaced. As the tiny fetus grows, the neurons make their way out from inside the neural tube to build the brain, layer upon layer, like an onion.
This is the way all our brains are created.
Follow a cellular pathway, as if they were traveling down a highway. They just grab hold of supporting cells called glia and propel themselves along.
The cell, which makes them sort of fat in the back, and then they hold on to the guide wire, this glial fiber, like an inchworm as it moves along. The cell goes all by itself in what is a very, very vulnerable process.
Neurons travel in waves, millions every day, embarking on an expedition that scientists call migration.
Because it's as if they're going across the country. I mean, in terms of the distances relative to their size, they're making a huge odyssey. All kinds of foreign territory. And the most amazing thing about this migration is that they generally do it without mistakes. They're following cues along the way that are
in herds, gliding down a glial highway which takes them to their final destination. Or do neurons do their own driving? Each neuron genetically programmed to fulfill its own.
They're programming by evolution over millions and billions of years. This is actually the fact. It's in all of us. There are the Hox genes, the genetic toolkit that determines we're going to be an evolved mutated primate. Not a donkey, not a fly, not a flower. No, that's a genetic toolkit. Hox genes. And it all goes into place, forming the brain, which emerged 9 months later. But All of them have DNA. And here is the instructions and the procedure and the mechanisms of DNA, the helix, inside the neurons and inside every little cell that we have in our brains, even our saliva. Here's the procedure. No God. Those mechanisms of the universe are 14 billions of the 14 billion years after the Big Bang. Here are the facts. Keep in mind, I do not bullshit. I am mentally healthy. In other words, an atheist. So I tell it like it is. If you feel insulted because you have a problem with your brain, believing all the fairy tales you've been brought up with, of some gods, so be it. Be insulted. But if the shoe fits, wear it. This, right now that I'm presenting to you, is exactly what's happening inside our cells. The DNA replicating itself like a little machine, constantly doing that in every cell in our bodies. Product of evolution, not any diluted God concept. We create this God concept with the brain malfunction. Just take some drugs and then you'll create a God also. But this is what's happening. And not only in the cells in our whole body system, in our hands, everything. No, also the most important cells, the neurons. It's happening there too. Constantly. Every second they're doing this, is shooting new cells and shooting new, replicating itself with the DNA helix. As you can see the process here. Thanks to atheism, mentally healthy people that arrive to the concept of doing this in using the technology that is constantly increasing and evolving.
Our DNA is tightly packed up so that 6 feet of this long molecule fits into the microscopic nucleus of every cell. It's wrapped around special protein molecules called histones. The combined loop of DNA and protein is called a nucleosome. The nucleosomes are packaged into a thread. The end result is a fiber known as chromatin. Fiber is then looped and coiled yet again.
But there is a problem. The interference of psychosis when this science is going to be taught in schools to elementary school children that I don't know that the brain is the creator of the mind. There's not such a thing as God and zombie Jesus and angels and sin and crap like that, that the only thing it does is create intolerance, sadomasochism, confusion, destroying the intellect and making children retarded, stuck in the past. This is the problem. And the clueless scientists in the United States of America, which is a Christianity-infected country, fail to mention that believing God in the psychosis and delusions of God is no different than delusions produced by the beliefs of schizophrenics. Believing in a resurrected zombie that's say with blood, or flying prophets, or alien abductions, or any crap like that, which is irrational, illogical, and deluded, is no different than the beliefs of people suffering from temporal lobe epilepsy, schizophrenia, cognitive dissonance, and other forms of disorders of the brain. Because the brain is the creator of thoughts. That's the organ we create thinking, reasoning with. And the organ that is going to help us navigate the planet after we are born is void of knowledge. Keep that in mind. This is never taught in school. Believing God is a mental illness, and Christianity is the worst of these HIV-type schizophrenic disorders.
Chromosomes, which can be seen in the nucleus of dividing cells. They form around the time cells divide when the two copies of the cell's DNA need to be separated.
And look what's happening. Take an electron microscope and look at the cells. Look inside and see each cell with the mechanisms of the DNA twisting, doing all the mechanisms, creating cells and creating everything. Creating the whole thing. It happens all over our bodies. No God. If you believe in God, you're a theotard, you're an imbecile. The more you believe and have faith, the more ignorant and theotard you are. Because there is no God. We create everything with the brain. That's what we should understand. And the problem is Christ psychosis infecting the whole humanity. Faith, crap like that. Theology is a psychosis. It's for stupid, theotarded imbeciles that had no idea what they are, who they are, how they came into being and existence. They don't know science. They are ignorant. And ignorance is the virtue of the faithful, of the believer. The more you believe, the more ignorant you are. And if you are educated and you believe in all these irrational things, then you're schizophrenic. You have a problem of your brain, cognitive dissonance. This is what happens. We are product of a fuck. That's the fact. And I explain to you what's happening. But our bodies composed of all the cells, and you can see the mechanisms of the cells. I'm going to present myself an example. Notice this video that I'm making. The clips that I'm making before, just the preceding one. Notice a spot that I have, a reddish spot. You know what that is? It's eczema. Eczema. I didn't realize, probably excess of vitamin D that I shouldn't be taking, but I did. Probably, and it created this thing with the sun hit me and all that stuff. Now I don't, it's getting better. Because I just went to the doctor just about an hour ago. And he told me exactly, he gave me medication. Now, if you believe in God, you are an imbecile and you're a theotard. And if you believe in God, you ought to prove it. Don't go to see a doctor if you get sick. Or if you have eczema, just pray to your zombie God to see if he cures you. Making my point. This is the problem. Now, look at this. It's all clearing up. See? They give me an injection, a steroid. It's clearing up. That's science. So if you believe in God, you're a theotard, you're an imbecile. And don't be a hypocrite. If you believe in God, don't see doctors. And doctors and knowledge is produced of atheism, mentally healthy people, with science over the millennia accumulated knowledge. That's science. If you believe in God, you're stuck in the Middle Ages, just retarded, and you'll never get anywhere because your brain does not evolve. So keep that in mind. And I continue. So people, if you believe in zombie Jesus and say with blood, hey, don't be a hypocrite, just pray. And if you believe in eternal life, what are you doing here? Kill yourself. Be like the Islam psychotics, the suicide bombers that are really true Islam believers. See, they kill themselves, they blow themselves up. because they know they're going to go to heaven. What about you, Christians? What are you doing here? Kill yourself. Be in heaven with God if you're truly believers. If not, you're hypocrites. You're non-believers. You're idiots. Deluded, scared of death, psychopath, stupid people that belong in mental institutions to repair their brains. Now, keep in mind, the clips that you're going to go see after this message that I'm giving you right now are done previously. So you'll see my red spotting here is eczema that I start developing. I never get sick. I'm 70 years old. I never get sick, but I don't know what happened here. It must have been something. And then I went to see the doctor and he's gave me an injection. It's been corrected now. So I feel much better. But notice the spot in the videos that are following right now, the clips, because, I'm still making the video. So, and I want to upload it. Presenting facts and the truth.
Using computer animation based on molecular research, we are now able to see how DNA is actually copied in living cells. Using machines that are pulling apart the DNA double helix and cranking out a copy of each strand. The DNA to be copied enters the production line from bottom left, called helicase. It spins the DNA as fast as a jet engine as it unwinds the double helix into 2 strands, and can be seen spooling off to the right, because it must be copied backwards. It is drawn out. The end result is 2 new DNA molecules.
Everything that I just presented has the science to back it up. We create thoughts with the brain. The brain is a compilation and mirrors of the universe. Quantum entanglement. Inside our brains, thoughts exist and they don't exist. They reflect, they don't reflect. They have past, present, and future become one, and they become in many places and in no places at all. That's what we create thoughts with, and it's reflecting our dreams when there is no dimensions. There's no past, present, or future. There is no depth, width, and time. Everything in our dreams happens, and it doesn't happen. It's remember and not remember, exist and it doesn't exist. That's the reality of it all. It's in our brain. Enjoy the truth, my friends, but we must be very, very careful because a tremendous infection that came with our evolution of becoming a knowing ape, having a brain that understands, by a freak of nature, having a brain that understands life, understand ourselves and the whole universe. Really the true quantum entanglement. And the price that we pay is that we have this infection is with the coronavirus. And if we don't address it, that's what gives us, it creates the God believe psychosis. And they can actually will make us extinct. And it's called schizophrenia, mental disorders, and all that happens only in the human primate. You don't see other forms of life being insane. We have that insanity that gives us the cognition. We have to keep that in mind if we are to survive. So, Christ psychosis is the most dangerous of virulent God belief disorders. The mental illness that nobody sees. The cancer of the brain. Enjoy the truth. Keep in mind this scientific truth. You are product of a fuck of coitus when a lady venerated the penis Christ of a man, not gods created by sick brains.